the internet. Welcome to... I touched my head. Welcome to another issue of the Ghostlight Social. Welcome back after our little break and your rewind episode with Lewis Emmerich and Andy Ashford. That was a good little throwback, wasn't it? But you know what the score is. This is the show where we bring creative people together. We have a bit of a chat. We talk nonsense. We talk very seriously. We raise our hope and we dash our fears. I'm not wearing a hat because it's really hot. I hope you're not wearing hats because it's really hot. I'm also wearing shorts.
Oh.
Me too.
That's not a good thing. I'm wearing the 17-18 West Ham away kit shorts.
Of course you are.
Because they're like the only shorts I own because I once became a full kit wanker. I'm going to bring Lee Toombs in.
Hello, Michael. How are we?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
We literally haven't spoken for apart from over email, but like for ages, have we?
No, and I saw you in person though, not long ago.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, in person. It was work related. We I had to pick up a hard drive and we had to swap some equipment. So that was legitimate, I think.
Yeah.
So how's it been?
All right. I mean, local lockdown is. Look, it's like.
Oh, I forgot you were locked down. I forgot that.
I'm still locked down. But the lockdown is I can't stand in people's gardens and I can't go in people's houses. I can do everything else. As long as it's got a till, we're all right.
Obviously, because that's how this government works.
Yeah.
That was a little beep, so I'll get rid of that. What was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you. Can't remember. Oh yeah, so you haven't sorted your camera out.
No, you mean because you can see me on the GoPro?
Yeah, and I can see your massive head.
Yeah, thanks.
That's all right.
Yeah, for those watching, they'll see like a really nice shot of me on a nice 35mm lens.
Well,
yeah, they won't see the shitty GoPro that I got from China, which is broadcasting me to our guest Santa Lee over Skype because Skype is a shit and it doesn't recognise my nice, lovely camera and lens. So the people at home can see.
Can I just counter that by saying at the moment, because everybody's using Zoom and WebEx and the such, I think Skype has been very good to us, and they want to sponsor us at all. We're available.
Yeah, because we're banging the drum of Skype. We're the only people using it.
I think that's probably true.
And do you know what? I've not even been on. I might have talked about this, but nobody's invited me on any Zoom quizzes during the height of lockdown. None of that. I'm quite glad though because. I'd got them all right, and everybody would have been really pissed off at me.
That's why you don't get invited.
Yeah,
that's the attitude.
Because I am. Do you remember that time me and you did a pub quiz about 20 years ago, and nobody swapped answer sheets with us, and so we just sat in the corner and filled all the answers out ourselves, and we won the gallon of beer.
Did we?
Yeah.
Where was that? Is that in the Thorntree?
That was Thorntree, yeah.
Thorntree, nice work.
And this literally it's about 20 years ago.
Long time ago, more than that probably.
Yeah.
Good. Right. I understand that you. So did I. I understand that you have something to share before we bring our wonderful guests in.
Yeah. So you know what we like to do. Lee normally does this bit, but I've got something that I saw the other day on YouTube, and I just had to share it. YouTube is usually really terrible at suggesting content to me via its adverts. It thinks I'm a retired banker because it wants me to go on golf courses and have life insurance. Little do they know I've got £7. I'm not interested in playing golf. In fact, the last time I played golf was with you, Lee, in about 1997.
Nice.
So normally when adverts come up, like everybody else, you reach for the remote or whatever and you go skip. Soon you're waiting for the 5, 4, 3, 2, skip. Get me to whatever I want to watch. This time, what happened was there was something came into view and I thought, I've never seen anything like this before. I'm going to give this until I realise it's shit and I will skip. And I watched the whole thing. I Googled it. I've been obsessed with this thing ever since. This is a trailer.
Michael.
I am going to get on with
it. Michael, this is not Pornhub, is it?
No.
Oh, right.
No,
good.
It's fine.
Good.
So this is something which I'd never seen before. There's I'll talk while we watch.
Okay, that's a good
otherwise
idea.
I'm going to ramble on for ages.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Right.
So this is a trailer for a film which has been out for a few years, but I never saw it, by a French duo who go by the alter ego Seth Ickerman. I mean, look at that. I've never seen anything like this. This is Alien meets Flash Gordon meets Game of Thrones, and it's done on a tight budget. And exactly that. It's unreal.
I have to say that when I watched that, when you sent it through to me, I wondered whether it got to the end. I wondered whether it was a computer game, because I have a bit of an obsession at the moment about how filming. If you look at the way that some dramas have been filmed, especially more gritty dramas, they're being filmed a lot more in that sort of first-person, almost game-like way. And I know, you talked about The Mandalorian and how that was shot very much like
the Unreal Engine to project scenery and stuff. Yeah,
and that's what this sort of reminded me of a little bit. That it could easily be a trailer for a computer game.
Yeah, and I think that the amazing thing with this is that these are two guys who did a Kickstarter a few years ago, and they did I think it was animated, but like an animated Matrix movie with mice, as far as I can tell. And it garnered lots of attention online. And it's elevated to the point where they can, come together and have like 5 million quid and create this. It's only 50 minutes long, is this film, and it's available on Vimeo on demand, on Shudder, which is it's kind of like Netflix for horror films. But this thing, the thing which captured my imagination was the colour scheme, which I thought was just unreal. Real psychedelic, that kind of Flash Gordon 1980s kind of vibe. But then, have you ever noticed on an iPhone when you edit a picture and you go onto the edit feature, there's a thing called clarity, which anybody who uses Photoshop knows clarity. And you scroll it completely to the right, and everything just goes super sharp, and you see every tiny little detail, and it's as if this film's had that applied to it.
He probably has.
But I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen any. I know, but nobody has ever done that kind of clarity, super sharpness, and then added a film grain on top of that. And then
it is impressive. It looks
vibrant,
impressive.
and you can, looking at the stuff, you can pick out kind of the model work. This isn't like a CG environment. There are CG elements in there, but a hell of a lot of this is model work. Is literally cameras flying through models that these guys have built, which is it's a technique and stuff which is ILM started off doing that, who do all the Star Wars stuff, and were created because of Star Wars. And it harks back to that, to 1975 in a studio in South LA and stuff, and it's just incredible. So that's the thing I'm sharing. Go have a look at it. It's a couple of years old. It's astounding.
It's great. Can you watch the film, or is the film not on there?
I'm yet to find a way to watch the film. Okay. Shudder, the streaming platform where I've advertised it, where it would come from, it's recently come off their schedule. So, like how Netflix does the rounds, it's recently come off. So I was like, shit, so it looks like I'm going to have to buy a Blu-ray.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah.
Fancy.
I was just going to do like 7 days free trial of Shudder and watch it and then cancel.
Right.
Supporting the arts, as I like to do.
Absolutely. Right, anything else to share? It was a good one, though. Well done.
Thanks.
Welcome.
No, that's it.
Okay. Great. Should we get our guess in?
Let's do that.
Let's do that, because I'm sure they're very excited to talk about Star Wars.
Yeah.
We're very lucky to have them. I'm hoping we're going to talk a bit of Meisner. We'll probably do that first, get it out of the way. Not get it out of the way, but you know what I mean. Until we get onto the normal frivolous stuff that we talk about. Very lucky to have, from both feet, Steph and Adam. Hello, Steph and Adam. How are you doing?
Hey, good, thank you. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Very, very good. It's lovely. It's lovely to see you. Lovely to speak to you.
That was a program response, Adam Stadius. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
So, if you hadn't guessed in the way in which this conversation is going to go, I'm going to say things, and then Steph will take the mick out of me. Oh, wait, I said mick, but I can swear, right? I definitely heard a few U-bombs and all that beforehand. So
yeah, we'll be all right, I think. Yeah. We've only been kicked off the air once.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, that's a challenge.
Okay, well that's fine. If every time Steph takes the mickey out of you, I'll take the mickey out of Steph.
Okay.
Ace.
And that means Mike has got to get on you.
Yeah, but he does anyway.
Yeah.
So that's just a nice.
There's generally one short gag, even though Lee's not even short. But I always, because I am taller than him, I always like to get a short gag in.
I am quite short.
No, I mean,
5'7" pretty short for a man.
in 1770, that was average height.
And it was quite tall. I know. I seem taller, but I'm not.
Yeah, you can't count your ego as height.
Oh, see, started before I did. All right, Cornet. So, Steph, first of all, tell me how it's been going.
My day, life.
Yeah, life.
Good. Busy.
Hey, do you know what? Do you know what I've just realised?
What?
I didn't send you the questions.
Oh, set questions.
I've got questions. Never sent them.
Well, Vamp, we're good.
I'll tell you why in a minute. So imagine I have sent you it. Tell me about lockdown. How's it been, Steph?
Really busy.
Oh God.
I've had to completely overhaul both feet so we can do everything online. So that's like 14-hour days. Mumming on top of that, obviously, barely. I mean, let's face it. We've got a retreat that we were just supposed to be starting just before lockdown, renovation of a stables, so that's kind of stopped. But the start of lockdown was tying up all the things just in case it didn't happen. I can't even comprehend like what, I don't even know. But I know this is really awful, but I really loved it.
I think that's absolutely fine. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for. So we'll see you again. It's an old gag, but it's a good one. It's an old one, but it's a good one. Yeah, so just tell us about your little retreat. I know it's not finished yet, but tell us a little bit about that.
So there's a stables I'm in North Wales, and there's a stables up the top of the garden. So we're turning that into a studio so that I can teach, and it'll bed up to 12 people. So it'll be the home for both feet as and when we need it, and then it'll be open to be rented out by other theatre people, rehearsals, yogis, like creative people. But because
rent it out to anyone. Anyone who wants.
No, Stadius, no hens and stags. That's for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
You said the came to mind
says
a
that
sex
now.
party.
She says that now.
No.
Says that now.
No, I got lined. Well, it's in my garden, so like if it's about pissheads coming up, like they're just gonna have the wrath of me every 5 minutes, because I actually don't like people that much. So they need to be the kind of people that are gonna come and be nice and serene and not too noisy.
What could not be noisy about a group of actors rehearsing some sort of outdoor theatre, which is the only type of theatre that we're doing at the moment.
I'll just shut the doors. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and obviously on an evening, actors are well known for not, involving and indulging in a few drinks and being rowdy and
Well, they can go up into Al's field and it'll be fine. Go and hang out with the sheep.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Good. Adam, what have you been up to? How's it been?
So in terms of lockdown wise, what I have to say is Steph's been an absolute rock star as far as both feet goes, because I have done nothing as far as both feet go, partly because I've been busy with my other job. So I run a degree course at the Leeds Conservatoire now, which is the newly named Leeds College of Music. So I run a degree course there. So that's pretty much taken up my sort of full thing. So redesigning degrees about six times over has been a joy. But yeah, as far as both feet goes, Steph's been absolutely kicking its ass.
But
that's the one compliment she's going to get.
I've been doing both feet, and you've been doing like a whole degree of, oh man. So we've both been beavering. I'll do it.
No, you're awesome.
No, we've both been beavering away and doing pretty similar things in a way, which is like going, okay, there's a problem, and we need to get our creative brains, kick them into gear to turn it so that we can make everything work for us now. So we've both been doing the same stuff.
So Adam has been doing a full degree course. You've been doing both feet, which is, you're saying is similar. I've been trying to open bottles of cider. That had been my problem. Just taking the top off.
Can you mastered any like cool ways of taking it off, so like the flips or?
I can do it on my teeth.
Oh, God, I used to be a dental nurse. Like,
oh, did you?
Okay. Yeah, not okay.
I did not know that.
I've
what this show is about. That's
there
what
you go.
This show is about.
Deep dives.
Yep. Very nice.
Many
Very
talents.
nice. So I'm gonna throw some. So first of all, families. Well, are you well? Have you been well? Everybody okay?
Yeah, all good. I've got a very pregnant partner downstairs who is like, she's dying in the heat. Yeah, but aside from that, it's fine. It's a typical British summer, so everything's too hot now, so it's fine.
How pregnant is she? I mean, she
35 weeks.
Okay.
Wow, yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
this heat's not going to be good on that.
No.
Hence you being upstairs and
yes, I've been banished upstairs for this. So
yeah. Fair enough. Okay. Right. Okay. Some of these you're going to have to think on your feet, but I know you're really good at that.
I'm not.
Or
we act before we think, Lee. We act before we think.
Or think
already.
On both feet.
We
have an isolation playlist, right? So I'd like a song from both of you to include in our playlist.
And you can think about this and give us it later if you're really struggling.
No, they can't. Just go for it.
Does that have to be themed, or is it just?
No, absolutely not.
Just give us a banger.
God. Oh, what have I been dancing to? Loads. Brave Face by Frank Turner.
Okay, not had that.
Very nice. That's been so. I've got a log up next to the retreat, and I've been doing this. Like, I've been doing a bit of looking after myself over the last few months, which is new. So I've got this massive, great big log that's like half a tree trunk, basically, and I just go up there, and I've got Frank Turner blasting away in my ear holes, and I just I'm up on the top of this hill like, hey, on my log, just like so crazy and Dinmile.
Is that Frank Turner Overdrive?
What does that mean?
No, that's what is it?
What's that?
Is it the Markman Turner? Something like that.
Never mind. Good.
Frank
Good one.
Turner's a musician. He's from Manchester.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Oh, right. How do you know?
I'm sure it's something Turner Overdrive.
There is something Turner Overdrive, but it's not Frank. It's like Mark Turner Overdrive. It's smashing nicey, isn't it?
Smashing
nicey. You ain't
nicey,
seen nothing yet. That.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, that's the one. Excellent. Brave Face. Happy with that. Very nice indeed. Adam, you've had a bit of time to think.
I've had a bit of time to think, but the only thing that's jumping up in my head is, and don't hate, is Godzilla by Eminem. Only because I set myself the challenge of trying to learn the really fast rap bit that he does at the end. That was like my sort of like, if I could
do it.
Adam, you can't.
I can give half of the bad beats, evil that means take a back seat, take it back to the fat beats with a maxi single. Look at my rap sheet, what attracts these people is my gangsta bitch like Apache with a catchy jingle. I stack chips, you better got a half-eaten Cheeto. That's like that was my like challenge Adam sort of thing to sort of like keep my brain going.
Okay. Little bit embarrassed, but also really, really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Really good.
New job.
Richard McNamara has come in the chat and said Bachman Turner Overdrive.
Bachman Turner Overdrive. Of course it is.
Hi, Richard.
And
Eminem. Really happy we've got some Eminem because we haven't got any Eminem on there. Eminem.
I still love a bit of Eminem.
Very good. Yeah, I do as well. Yeah. Very nice.
Emily Chattel was quite impressed with that. Is that how you pronounce it? Is it chattel?
Yeah.
Whatever
Whatever you want it to be.
And Angela Heenan says, "You look bloody stunning." She did specifically say you, Steph, but I'm going to take this for everybody.
Yeah.
She did specifically say, or didn't specifically say.
Specifically.
Yeah.
In which case, I'm taking it for everybody. And Dale is online. All right, Dale.
Hey up, Dale. Hey, Dale. Good. All right. Well,
the chat is unusually active. Usually, people watching just never say up, but the chat's active tonight. So,
yeah, keep chatting.
Any questions? Fire them in.
Because we haven't got any.
Yeah. Well, we have. We just didn't send him to them.
Tune in for Paxman.
I must confess, the reason that I didn't do it is because I've been in a rehearsal room, an actual rehearsal room with other actors.
With Leanne.
With Leanne.
Leanne said that earlier.
I know.
Champion.
I know. Oh, and with other people. That's like proper grown-up stuff. Anyway,
what is it?
Each other's faces.
Obviously. Yeah. Obs. Yeah.
What are you rehearsing?
Well, it's long and it's complicated. It's a corporate job, but it's difficult to explain.
That was great.
Yeah. Great. Thanks for selling me on that one, Lee.
Yeah. You won't see it. I don't think so. So don't worry about it. Right. Okay. So. And this is basically during lockdown. This is something that you have done during lockdown that you would probably never have done. So the most coronavirus thing you've done. Steph will. Adam, we'll start with you.
Well, I was going to say learn a rap, but also I think just like run away from people in public whenever they just sort of come near. That like just sprint from people
without feeling guilty.
Yeah, without feeling guilty at all. Yeah. I just do this thing like a very sort of tired like man much older than me just just walks away from people. It's great.
You see, I do that all the time, but I can do it legitimately now.
Yeah, right.
It's great.
We're allowed to be antisocial. It's brilliant.
Yeah. I'm even more impressed that you've only learned that Eminem song during lockdown. I thought this was a long
lifetime gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'd started to confession time. I'd started to learn it pre-lockdown, but I got it off book during lockdown. So that's the thing.
Well, I mean, that's just a big tick.
Yeah,
big.
I don't know. It's gone down in my estimations now, to be honest.
Well, because he started it beforehand.
Yeah.
When he says beforehand, does he mean like 3 years ago?
Oh, yeah. Before the song was even.
Were you 17?
Yeah. When it was released.
We're kind of on topic here, but Angela Heenan has jumped in with a question about the best learning line techniques. So that kind of plays.
God.
Oh, should we go straight in with that?
Straight to work.
Go for
Angela.
It. Go for it.
So the thing that I always recommend to people is so your brain is way more relaxed and easy to take stuff in when you're kind of passively doing something physical as well. Think how easy it is to learn a song when you're driving on the motorway when it's just playing in the background. Your body really takes
Eminem, for example.
Exactly. So I always recommend to actors the best way to learn lines is to just kind of have it sort of with you when you're doing something that you can easily like semi-concentrate on. So like for me, driving. Drive safe, everyone. No, or like Christopher Walken, he learnt his lines best when he was cooking. So he would always have his script sort of up there whilst he was chopping veg or that sort of stuff. Or just something physical so that your body's involved in the act of doing it rather than just sat still focusing, because your brain doesn't want to be forced to do something. So the best way is to try and do it as easy and passively as possible. So that's and I couldn't quote you on it, but I know that there's science in there somewhere, where everything else is just like hard brain work. But I don't know, Steph, have you got any other things that you tell people frequently?
People just need to learn who they are, like how their brains work. Like for me, the reason I didn't go into acting was because I didn't believe that I could learn lines. Like it was just a thing, and then somebody crushed me, and then so I just went, "Oh, sod it, I'll leave it." But actually my brain just learns differently. Like I have to handwrite lines out, not computer or just have them in the screen. I have to handwrite them out. and colours, like, or like draw little pictures coming out, like, or if there's like a pattern, like lots of as or he's or she's or I's, then like to make a pattern like out of colours and pictures like on the page. They're really good. And what Adam said, just moving. And the amount of actors learn their lines like in their heads, like say them out loud. Oh my days, like you've got to connect, because otherwise as soon as you stand up in front of people and make noise, you're like so be learning like straight from the off, like vocally, loudly.
Especially if you're like sent aside for an audition, because the first time you speak the lines out loud can't be in that room in front of those people or on that tape. So get that. But isn't it, when you're acting, how suddenly easy is it to know the text as soon as it's been like staged or it's up on its feet? It's suddenly so much easier than it is just as a head activity. So yeah, move, get the body involved. Do a dance, whatever you want to do.
Vacuuming.
What would you say, Lee? What's your technique?
I agree with Steph. Obviously, I get asked this quite a lot, and it's really difficult because what works for one person doesn't work for another. And I've gone through stages of writing lines out. That's helped me. I've gone through stages of just applying pressure, like just standing in here or whatever, and just pushing against a wall and doing it, but just something that physicalizes it. The thing that's working for me at the moment, and this is probably because I've been doing a lot of theatre, is that I've essentially been throwing the lines out of the window, and I've just been concentrating on thought processes. And that, I think that's easier to do in theatre because there is an element of repetition when you do theatre. You rehearse it and then you do it on stage. I personally have a problem with that, going to an audition where I'm going to be filmed, or where you're going onto set and you just don't get that time to rehearse with the other person. You don't get time to get used to them. You have to just be able to pick them off. So I think you've just got to find what works for you. But it's an interesting one, because the other thing that I talk about a lot is the fact that it's often one of the first questions that people ask, especially like friends who have been to see theatre work or whatever, and a show that I did just before lockdown in Oldham. It was very, very wordy. And almost the first thing that people say is, how do you learn those lines? Yeah. And as an actor, you're sort of going, well, first of all, because fundamentally that's my job. That's the base level of the job. When you go into a casting room, they think you can learn lines. That's sort of a given. But it's about being free enough with them to be able to add the humanity and everything else that you need to add. So I think practice and find ways.
Jump in on something you said, Lee, which was getting the thoughts. Like, so many actors that I know jump straight into like learning the lines, and it's like, oh my days, like do your text analysis first, do that work first, because all of that will embed the words as you go along anyway. So instead of like running uphill to start with and then get into the flat bit, you want to be doing it the other way around.
I wonder, and I don't know what you both think about this, but I wonder whether that is because you read a lot of what I would say is nonsense, but people work in different ways, and that's absolutely fine. About saying, but if you learn the thoughts, if you learn the thought process through it, you're going to be stuck in a pattern, and you can't be stuck in a pattern. You must be spontaneous.
Oh my days. Learning lines before you learn the thought pattern is the thing that gets you stuck. If you learn like, and how are you? And how are you? Then you're never going to change. But if you learn the thought pattern, if you know what is going on with this character, what the given circumstances are, like all of that stuff, then the words are going to have a fluidity with them. Oh my days.
And ultimately, the thing is, and this is the hardest thing for people to sometimes get when it comes to acting, is there is so much groundwork that goes into it, and then the really annoying thing, and I know how many people have been taught this, is then someone just goes, now forget about it. and act and do it. But actually, that is a massive part of the process of learning how to trust what you've done beforehand to work when you get there. Because of you're right. No one wants to get you stuck into a pattern and stuck into that sort of, here's the fixed way that I deliver it. So you have to kind of abandon it at some point. My acting crush is Viola Davis. I think she's just fucking awesome in everything that she does. And she's also really great when she's been interviewed, because she's one of the few actors that actually talks about acting when she's interviewed. But everyone else just talks about like the writing or that sort of stuff. You know, the character's great. But she really talks about what she does. But the biggest thing that she says is, I do my homework, I do my craft. I mean, she writes, and whether or not we think it's cool or not, or great or useful, she wrote like a 60-page character bio for one scene opposite Meryl Streep in Doubt. But she's like, I do all my homework, I do all my stuff, and then I have to stop and I have to leave it alone and then work with whatever anyone else gives me when I turn up there. So there is a massive element of graft that goes into the moment before you get there, and then you have to leave it alone and work with whatever happens.
But it's not about pushing it away. It's not about like, I never did that. It's just trusting it, just knowing that you're the one that's done the research, you're the one that's done the prep. It's all come from you. It's all in you. And then you just get to just let it be.
So and it's there if you need it. And exactly. It will be there, or rather, it will be there when you need it.
Yeah.
It's like, essentially learning the emergency stop in your driving lessons.
Yeah.
You know, you'd never ever practice that, but when you need it, it's there.
Yeah, totally.
That useless general knowledge that you kind of commit into your head somewhere. You're not walking around the street going, the capital of this country is this. You're like all full, remembering it all the time. Everything pops up when it's needed. Exactly. So if you know it to leave it alone, not again, as Steph said, not forcefully, then it'll be there, and all that prep work will sink through.
Yeah, none of that is in my head. None of the capitals of cities of
me neither.
Places of countries of world.
Paris.
None of it.
I get as far as Lisbon.
Just not be there.
Yeah. Okay. Now, do I do that now, or because I was going to potentially open a can of worms? Am I going to do that?
Worm it up. Do it.
We're all for the worms.
Okay, so Spec Servers have made a bit of a stir, haven't they? They've made a bit of a stir on social media, and it is part of a trend. And
the human actor.
This real people thing, but it's sort of connected to what we're talking about, because ultimately, I believe there is a part for everyone that they just don't need to work on, that they could just turn up and do, and it would be great. And whatever, and that's luck. Now, I wonder whether because of that, we now have these sort of castings, which have gone on for years. It's not necessarily a new thing, where they've just gone, do you know what? We have no idea what we want, but as soon as we see that, no idea at all. There's no script. We don't have no idea. So what we're going to do is we're just going to see thousands of people, and they will give us our campaign. Rather than paying somebody to come up, and I'm not saying this is what Spec Servers did, I'm just using it as an example. But rather than come up with something, okay, we've got this script and this idea, let's get an actor to do it. We'll forget all that, and we'll just go, let's meet a load of people, and we'll go, yeah, we'll use you. You'll do. What's your thoughts on that?
Thoughts.
I think so. So some of that, I think. So I think there's two things. There's specifically what Spec Servers have done in saying we're looking for real people, which I just think is stupid, because everyone's a real person. Even actors, believe it or not, are real people.
That's not what I teach, Adam.
No, well, anyway. But everyone's a person, so that's fine. But I think sometimes you're right. It's casting directors that without imagination. I think there's a danger of that sometimes. I think a good person who's trying to get people for a casting should be trying to show a director what they could have, rather than just give them what they want in a room. And I think sometimes when you launch campaigns like that, it's exactly the case of just having no brief and just going, we're just looking for a person. Anyone will do, and we'll just get a ton of people. And it's people would say it's opening doors for anyone to come in, but other people might just say it's just an open and lazy process. I mean, I say lazy. I would not want to be the person for Spec Servers' social media campaign who has to troll through all of those replies from either a ton of people with faces and glasses or a ton of actors going, "Why aren't you paying an actor to do this?"
Okay, so hold on. So these people aren't being paid, or they are?
Well, there was some ambiguity over because it was phrased as an opportunity. Yeah, for Spec Servers, yeah. And so obviously loads of actors jumped on it and just went, "Whoa, hang on a minute. What is this? So this is an opportunity for somebody to get some experience, is it? You know, and so there were a lot of that. You know, there was a lot of the would you ask for a plumber to come and do your, you know, there were a lot of that stuff. Spec Servers then said something like, "Oh no, we want it to be open to everybody. We didn't want it to exclude actors." But the way that it was worded was basically, if you're an actor, forget it. We want real people, and even if you're not a customer of Spec Servers, that's fine. So everybody's going, "Well, hang on, we're real people, blah 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 blah," and they didn't answer because a lot of people started going, "Could you tell us the fee and you know the usages and blah 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 blah," and they didn't answer it. So I.
All right, so that's not okay. Like, but. I worked on a project once where they found the leads at a train station. It was just a couple of people that they were like, "Oh my god, them," and they weren't actors. They were just a couple of people that just had something. So you could argue, well, you know, that's not okay because they're taking the jobs of actors. So, you know, on that level, like, there is a difference, you know, or there can be a difference, you know, between people that are just being filmed, just existing in their living room or whatever, and actors being like, "Oh, and now I'm acting," because I watch that difference all the time.
Yeah.
But if, like, so in a way, I don't know if I have a problem with that. Don't share my Twitter handle.
It's already done.
But of course, there is a massive problem if they're wangling out of paying. Like, you know, yeah.
No, do you know what? I it's fine. I totally agree with you. You know, I started the point by saying I think there is a role for everyone. And if somebody's walking down the street and they're looking for something very specific and they see it and it is exactly the right thing, presumably they have already seen other people and just not found what they. So do you know what I mean? And so that I've got absolutely no problem with that whatsoever, because that is about opening doors. It's about aspiration. It's about also no problem as long as they're being paid properly. Obviously,
yeah.
I've got no problem with that. I think where I would have the slight problem would be assuming that because they want to show something specific, they need a real person.
Yeah.
And there isn't an actor that could do that job when that's sort of what we do. If it's not you know, you go for any part, and you know, it's not yours until it's yours. And a piece of advice that somebody gave me really early on was never assume that, you know, you've lost a job. You haven't lost a job. If you didn't get it, you were never right for it. Yeah. It was, you know, and if your friend gets it, then you congratulate them because it was their job all along. It was their job. Otherwise, you can get yourself in a crazy headspace that goes, I need to be better. I should have done something differently. I should have blah, 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 blah. You know whether you've performed to, you know, you've done what you need to do or not. So yeah, no, I agree with you completely. But Spec Servers, it opened a whole.
Yeah, but also, like, people have just got a lot of time in their hands at the moment, don't they?
And they're worried. People are worried.
Just like.
Yeah, exactly. It's the wrong time to put out anything that looks like you're getting out of paying an actor, to paying someone to do their job when everyone's so desperate to be paid to do a job.
Yeah. Yeah, especially around the time, there was an article in The Guardian, I think it was this morning, or was it yesterday? They were just, talking about the crown jewels of the industry, how this fund is supposed to be protecting the crown jewels when, the whole article was about the crown jewels of the freelancers and the creatives that make this industry work, not the buildings that they occasionally work in. Interesting. It's all very interesting. Anyway, look. We got the most coronavirus thing. Did we get that? Who did we get that from? Both of you. We got it from both of you. No, we didn't. Did we?
Most coronavirus. Mine was
No, you didn't get you.
Steph was quiet.
Most coronavirus thing. Come on.
I don't know what that means.
Yes, you do. Something that you've done during lockdown that you would probably never have done.
Yeah, but mine's a serious one.
We've had serious ones.
Oh, okay. I've looked after myself. I've gone out every single day, even though I'm working 14 hours a day, and even if it's pissing it down, like every single day I've gotten outside and I've moved. And that is the best thing I've ever done for myself in my entire life. And I wouldn't have done that if coronavirus hadn't have happened.
Why wouldn't you have done that? Why not?
Because I haven't. Because I always put myself at the bottom of the pile. But everything, it was pretty incredible timing actually. So I was in Leeds. We were doing the Barbara Houseman workshop, and it was like, oh, should we be running it? I don't know. So we all came. And then 2 days into it, or one, can't remember. 1 day into it, we shut it down. And I sent the email to everybody. I got it all sorted on my laptop, and then my laptop died, full on died.
Oh no.
And I couldn't afford to get a new one, so I was like, oh, I'll fix it myself. So I tried to go through that process, and the part got lost in the post twice. It was so dramatic.
Hang on a minute, that's an incredible coronavirus thing. You tried to mend your own laptop.
It didn't work, though, did it? So I was without my laptop for 3 weeks. So I stopped. I full on stopped. And I don't tend to stop often. Even after having Pip, 4 weeks later, I was in Leeds, teaching and stuff. But I had no laptop. What am I supposed to do? So I stopped.
When you say sorry to break you off again, but when you say you stopped, did all those people still turn up to the workshop the next day? Or did you just think, fuck it, I'm not bothered?
Yeah, they were just like, where's Steph?
Yeah, where is everyone?
I got them all sorted.
Fair enough.
And then it died.
Yeah.
Just sacked them off.
Yeah.
Just hang out.
They're still there.
Getting coronavirus.
They're turning up every day going, is it today?
So from that I was like, oh my god, stopping is amazing. I just started looking after just, what do I need? Oh, I need some air. Oh, okay. Because I say to the actors that I work with, most of their questions, and my answer is, well, what do you need? And they're like, oh, apart from I forget to ask myself it. If Corona hadn't have happened, I wouldn't have discovered what it was to actually listen to what I actually needed.
Well, that was a good answer.
I like that.
It was a good answer.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good answer. And a good life lesson.
Yeah.
I know. I'm full of those.
It is true.
Wales.
And what rings true, especially with me, is that when students ask things or actors ask things or for advice, and I always feel like I give really good advice, and then I often reflect on it and go, I don't do that, and I should do that, and I don't do it. So it's great.
Here's what you should do.
Yeah, well, I can't remember. I wrote it somewhere recently, but we teach the thing we need to learn the most, don't we? So I'm there teaching actors everything that I fucking teach. And I listen to it and I'm going, every time I say this, I'm just hearing it for myself, and that's pretty cool. Like, you know, like Sanford Meisner, I'm pointing to his ears, that's Scott Williams. You know, what did he teach? What did he create? He created something that wasn't all about the words. You know, it was about listening, because his ears worked better than his throat, than his voice did. Everybody, you know, that's why therapists, they're all in therapy themselves. And they've ended up being therapists because they've been in therapy for so long, and they've gone, oh, this is interesting, isn't it? You know?
There is some, but adding on to that, like Steph, you and I are teachers because somewhere along the line, some teacher probably impacted us in that same way. So it's everything comes round again.
I think that's probably true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's also really good advice that, you know, he's pointing to your ears. And the fact is, we have 2 ears and we have 1 mouth. So even that fundamentally tells us something, that we need to listen more generally.
That reminds me of all those years ago when me and you first started in community theatre in Wakefield. And I remember you directing one year. And that was you must have said that 3 times a rehearsal. 2 of these, 1 of these, shut the fuck up.
Still saying it.
I'm a good director.
Yeah.
You need new material, Lee. Get some new material.
There is that. Or that tells you why I don't direct very much. Shush and listen to me.
No, better.
Now do it again. Better. Yeah. Learn your lines.
That was my note all the time. Learn your lines. And I'm like, yeah.
Very good. So, just moving on to something a little bit lighter. What has been your vice during lockdown? Steph.
Oh, my vice. My vice. Yeah, so I have a bit of a problem with words. What is? Give me a dictionary definition of vice.
Vice. Well, I'm not going to give you the dictionary definition,
Yeah.
but something that has helped you, not apart from the going outside, because we've done that bit. Something that has helped you get through lockdown. That is perhaps considered a vice, or something that you probably shouldn't do as much as you do.
Work.
Okay, fair enough.
That's so shit, isn't it? I'm so sorry. The thing is, I live in rural Wales, right? I'm like, lockdown just hasn't been that different, apart from I'm not commuting, you know, to Manchester or Leeds or wherever. Like, so I'm home. So like for some people, the impact has been massive, like on their day to day. But actually, I'm at home, and being at home is the treat. Is like, this is amazing. I'm watching my boys grow up. Like I'm kind of active parent at the moment. So like, it's kind of hard for me to break that up into like, it just doesn't feel that different.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Right, okay. Adam?
I've got 2. One, DIY, because we moved house. We bought a house in lockdown, and I actually started like making stuff. And by making stuff, it's all shit and basic. Like I made like a sofa out of pallets in the back of back of the garden and stuff. So that's been cool to work on. I never thought I would. You know, I studied musical theatre at drama school. This guy was not built to do DIY, but you know. That, and then the other is probably just Haribo Tang Fastics, man. The sugar in those are just, and the thing is in lockdown, I tried to get a little bit back in shape. I was like, look at all this home fitness stuff that people are doing. I'm going to try and do some of that.
Joe Wicks?
I tried a bit of that, but then I hurt myself doing some bunny hops. But no, I started even going back to the gym once they sort of reopened, but I reward myself by going home and buying a pack of Haribo Tang Fastics on the way home. So, you know, it's kind of not really working.
Do you do those silly voices when you're about to put one in your mouth?
No, but I adore the adverts.
Yeah, great, aren't they?
Yeah.
Very
Can
good.
Adam do an impression, maybe?
Well, I just admitted that I don't do the voices stuff, so I myself.
Yeah, but you just I don't know the advert, you see, because I don't watch telly. So
Lee brought it up actually, so clearly Lee's seen it.
Well, all I'm saying is you seem to be making a big deal of this, Steph. So I think we teach the things we need the most. So you go for it.
I haven't seen the advert.
Yes, you have.
I genuinely haven't.
And they've all got kids' voices.
It's like grown-ups environment.
Okay, I've seen it once. I don't know it. Well, shouldn't we all do one?
Go on then. You go first.
Start.
Yeah, but what? No, but
I'm just going off camera for 2 minutes.
No, but. Okay, I'll do one. I can't remember the adverts, but I'll do one. I love the little ring finger because I can put it on my finger and then shoot it off.
Oh no! Well, I love the cherry because I can split it in two and then play with it before I put it in my nose.
I really love the teddy bears because I can bite their heads off and stick them on my teeth.
I like that one too. Mike?
Now, I did not think that we would be doing this before. They were like,
Mike hasn't done it. Michael.
I'm off camera.
You're not.
Well, I think that was a good attempt.
I think you all did very, very well.
Thanks. I think as long as Haribo aren't looking for real people, I think we're in for a shot.
Oh, I like what you did there, and I hope so. Also.
Thanks very much. All right, listen. So we haven't really talked about both feet. So just tell us about both feet. What is it? What's the ethos? Tell us what that's all about. Adam.
We always have this thing about do I go? Okay, so both feet.
Adam will do his version, and then I'll do my version.
Yeah.
Unless I cut you off, you won't.
So, both feet actor training is really it's a group of people. It started off with me, Steph, and Laura Lindsay. Our common thread between the three of us is that a huge foundation of our actor training was training with a Meisner teacher called Scott Williams, who trained with Sanford Meisner at the Neighborhood Playhouse. That was the common thread that brought us together. It started by us sticking our heads together and saying, should we do something? We've got this shared knowledge. And actually, the great thing about the three of us was that we had that foundation, but we had all then gone in our separate directions with it. And it was a really great opportunity for us to come together and try and do something. Now, what we say our training is that we say that our training is Meisner based rather than we are teaching people the Meisner technique. Because really, and I think it's really, really important, and I always try and stress this, is there was only one person who taught the Meisner technique, and that was Sanford Meisner, and he's hecka dead now. So our training is based on our influences in the work that we've done in that technique, but also with other stuff as well, because isn't that how knowledge is enriched, by people doing more stuff and learning and bringing more areas into their practice. And Steph's done so much. I'm sure she could talk way more eloquently about the extra stuff that she brings into this training. She shakes her head, but in effect, that's who we are, and that's what we do in a short form. Steph, have I covered stuff? I felt like I gave a very official.
No, you did, but you started scratching your leg frantically, like during it.
Oh, stop analysing me.
Yeah, that sounds about right. We're totally different. That's what I love about me and Adam, is we're so different. And so when people get to come and work with us, it's not us being like, and we teach the same. You know, we'll say something. Sometimes we contradict each other. And somebody will be in Adam's class and they'll come to mine. They'll be like, "That's not what Adam said," because that's what they all sound.
So
like.
You two guys know each other then?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Who, me and Adam?
Yeah.
Are you being funny, Lee?
No, obviously not. No, not really. No.
I don't get it.
Don't get it. Yeah, forget it. Please continue.
Well, you've thrown me now.
Where can people
what
find out?
What saying is that I actually think that the reason we work is that we are different. Otherwise, what's the point of us being collectively something? We might as well just be doing our own thing.
Adam has a library for a head. So anyone that contacts me, they're like, monologues or like any suggestions on, stuff and things, or like names of people that have done stuff and things of big and whatnots. I'm like, I'll just CC you, Adam, into this conversation, because I've got nothing. I've like 2 babies have eaten what little amount I had in my brain. So he's got that. And then, I don't know what I've got to some stuff and things.
A lot of swear words.
Awkward. Yeah, some swear words. Like I come with like my NLP and my embraining stuff. So when it comes to that, like we just have different ways that we teach the work, different ways that we push our actors. And and again, every actor needs something different. So it's nice that they get a bit of difference from both of us. My room has gone so dark. Can I turn the light on?
Yeah. Please turn the light on. We can see you, though. We can see you.
Yeah, it's a little bit Blair Witch, but we can see you. Just don't have any snot coming out your nose.
She is in the Welsh woods.
Yeah. Have you got a cellar where you can go stand in the corner?
No cellar. I'd love a cellar.
She's not happy with the stables and outbuildings. She needs a cellar as well.
Yeah. I know. God.
So while she's doing that, Adam, tell us where we can find out more. Tell us what's happening with the schools, where you are, where is it up to?
Cool. So we're running a number of online sort of classes at the moment. The best way to find us is either you can search through Google in terms of both fee actor training. We're also on, if you search for those similar things, both fee acting, you'll be able to find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're doing this. I'm not doing the upsell. That we're doing currently, the training that's scheduled and upcoming is still online based. However, we're in the process of kind of planning to maybe venture into doing like face-to-face sort of stuff and getting actors in the room together, hopefully before the end of the year. Because I'm
started. Adam just doesn't know, but I've already started doing it. Secret courses. The
secret course and on top of a mountain. Which is true, but yeah. That I just want to be. It's going to be really, really exciting when we can actually get in a room and work with people again,
and lick each other's faces.
Good. Okay. All right. Fab. Here's a question for you to be thinking about. Although I need one of you to answer it, I suppose. At some point. A favourite industry moment, something that sticks out for you as sort of, I'll never forget that.
This is going to sound like such a wankery teacher moment for a second.
But you are.
It is. But it's those moments when you've really worked with an actor for a bit of time, and they message you or they call you and say that they, yes, well, if they got the gig, I mean, that's amazing because their successes. It's not that their successes are our successes, but we've shared time and we've worked together, and as a teacher, we become invested in them as students. That's why I became a teacher. That's the buzz. But I think it's as much as when someone goes to an audition, we know, and they come out going, I did the best I could. Because ultimately, I'm not just here to celebrate people getting jobs, because I don't think that's doing the job of what we do. So it's that moment of seeing other people feel good about their acting and feel good about the work that they're doing. That's the industry thing. I think it's difficult to contextualize that in like one single moment, but they're the things that make it like the thing that I keep going with.
I think that's a fantastic answer.
Oh, so smooth.
Really good. Smooth. Really good. That's almost like he planned that. It's almost like he said those before. I kept seeing him like sort of look down at some notes.
No, it's because you're rested on a washing basket. It's like a wicker washing basket that's falling apart. So it's just like these bits of wood just keep falling off.
Did you make that during lockdown? Is that one of your DIY?
It's one of my projects. Yeah.
Nice.
Very good. Very good. Steph, follow that.
Well, I mean, obviously, everything that Adam just said.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say one, and then actually, I've just sideswiped, boom, to something else. So the thing that I was going to say was I took a show to Edinburgh Fringe in, oh my God, like 2000 and something, some time ago, when I was younger and wiser. Apart from the fact that it ended up, it wasn't great. Let's just put that out there. But I was playing a horny religious girl, and I had to sing this gospel song. It was an awesome gospel song whilst humping the pillar in C2. And it was like, there was a review that went out that said that I was as funny as, or funnier than, can't remember which one it was, but we'll go with as funny as Dawn French. And I was like, oh my days. So that was, and 2 reviews compared me to Dawn French. So I was digging that.
Was it supposed to be funny, or was it?
No.
Very true.
Yeah, that's the clincher, isn't it? Is whether it was supposed to be funny or not.
It was no. It was well, no, it was. And then when I was going to say that, and then I was going to sideswipe too. Laura Lindsay's show Parallel. Did you see it, Lee?
I didn't.
Or Mike?
I was working.
No.
Scum. So I helped out with that. Debatably, not much really, because I had a bit of a breakdown, but all good. But they brought it back and they did a tour of it, and the 3 actors done cast at a roll of a dice by the audience on the night. And on the last night of the tour, one of the actors couldn't do the show, so Laura's like, "Oh, Steph, do you want to come in?" And I was like, yes, so badly. And I did, and it was after a breakdown, so it was such a monumental thing for me. Like, I didn't do the roll of the dice because I only had a 4-hour rehearsal. But so they gave me one of the characters, which is C, and then Bella and Laura did the other 2 by roll of a dice. But I just remember sitting there, just like, because C doesn't come in for a bit, and obviously, like, I'm a teacher with Meisner technique, or based, whatever, and I'm there going, "You got some tools, Steph, you got some tools, it's all good." shit, fucking line, shit. And I just remember sitting there on the steps, just down the steps at Square Chapel, just listening and being like, "You've totally got this. Like, you have totally got this." And I just smiled at myself and then just listened to everything that was happening. I just went in, and I didn't panic. Like, for the first time ever as an actor, like, I didn't go into panic, and I just did the piece, and it was just like absolutely amazing. And I was just, yeah, that was pretty good, like, oh, I don't want to be an actor, do I? Maybe I do.
Yeah.
Gives a job.
Yeah.
Never. But yeah, what about you, Lee? What about you?
What about me?
What's
I've answered it loads of times. I know, I've answered it. Yeah.
Was it the Arnold Coliseum?
Look, it's usually. Well, there you go.
You drop that in every week.
Anyway.
Well, I do. Well, one of the reasons is because it's nice to remind myself that I actually do work from time to time. But it was the job that I did the last, and the reason that it always sticks in my mind, although it wouldn't be my favourite necessarily in industry moment, is because the part was so unbelievably amazing that I may never get the opportunity to play a part like that again. So that's why I mention it there. But actually, my favourite industry moment was probably acting alongside Timothy Spall That's Timothy Spall. Sorry, I just dropped something on the floor.
That looks like you can't remember his name.
Yeah. But only because it was sort of the opposite to what you've just said, Steph, in so much as that I was on set and I obviously I'd been to the read through, so I knew who it was, but he sort of approached in my periphery and said, "Hi, I'm Tim." And I shook his hand, and then I looked at him, and it was sort of like, "Oh my God, oh fucking hell, all right." And then I remember the director saying to me, "Okay, so what we want to build up a little bit of tension before the scene starts. So if Tim, if you and Lee could improvise an argument." And then when you feel it's ready, come in with your first line. And I'm sort of going, "Oh my God, what?" It was one of them. And I hadn't done much TV. And I also remember her saying to me, the director, "Your frame, you're quite big." In fact, no, I asked, because it goes through your head. You're sort of going, right, what can I just Lee, say something to make it look like, A, you know what you're doing, you should be there, and that you're not a complete idiot. So I went, "Sorry, Kay, how big is the shot that we're doing first?" And she sort of looked at, you know what I mean? And she looked at me and she went, "Oh, you've got quite a lot of room, so don't be afraid, to move around a little bit if you want." And I was like, "All right, yeah, cool." Never moved. In my head going, "Don't move, it's camera, don't move, don't move, don't move, don't move, don't move," while improvising an argument with Timothy Spall. So that would be the one that sticks in my mind, because I remember leaving and going, got through that. They can never take that one away from me. And it wasn't cut out. They can't take that away from me.
What a win.
So there you go. That was that.
Awesome.
But if you ask me again next week, Mike, I'll come up with another if you want.
Oh, okay.
What about you, Mike? You feel quite quiet down there.
I like to just kind of, because Lee didn't let me get a word in.
That's how I feel with Adam. God, he just doesn't stop, does he?
Yeah. Anyway, thanks very much for coming on. Well,
I don't know. I've never really thought about it because I've had quite a varied career in music and a little bit of stand-up and a little bit of acting. But one thing which recently made me smile is the entirety of UK Shameless went onto Netflix. And so the first thing I looked up was my episode, what I'm in, and was like, "I've got a Netflix show." Boom.
There it is. Where's the royalties?
I didn't know Shameless was on Netflix.
Yeah,
I've had some subsistence come in. I've got some money coming.
Yeah, so that was nice. And I freeze framed. Because on Netflix, when you press pause, it comes up with Netflix and what it is and all that. So, it's really good for stealing screen grabs and going, "I'm on fucking Netflix." And that's exactly what I did. And everybody was like, "Oh, that's amazing, blah, blah, blah." So,
what episode?
I can never remember whether it's Series 8, Episode 12 or Series 12, Episode 8.
It's not Series 12, Episode 8.
There you go, then.
Yeah.
Series 8, it must be Series 8, Episode 12.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and it's awful. That was my first TV job, so yeah.
Very
bad,
good.
isn't it? Like, we spend so much time, I spend so much time instilling confidence in people of my abilities, and here we are, basically just shitting all over ourselves. Great.
But that's the role of creative people. It's imposter syndrome. We all have it. We just got varying degrees of how we mask that.
But that is why, and this is exactly what you were both saying before. That is exactly why I think anyway, it's so important that whatever your technique is, whatever your craft is based on, that you are confident that it supports you, that you don't have to worry about it. Because the fact of the matter is, you will get to opening night, or you will get onto that set with that major star or whatever, and suddenly your arse will go. And you will get imposter syndrome, and you'll be going, "Fuck, I can't do this. Someone's going to tap me on the shoulder, and they're going to go, 'Off you go. What are you? Who do you think you are?'" But if you can just breathe and go, "That's okay. I'll just deal with that, and I've got the, like you were saying, Steph, you sit there, I've got this. It's fine. It will be fine.
Something cropped up this week on social media. It's a phrase which I think is quite a new one and should be well spread around and feels quite resonantly true. Is that we need to stop treating creative jobs like people are earning money doing a hobby. And I think that kind of plays into that idea of imposter syndrome, because we all have it in our head that we are making money at a hobby.
Yeah, but the problem with that, Mike, is that then they might expect us to actually do some work. Do you know what I mean? Like hard work.
You're not helping, Lee. You're not helping.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I agree, Mike, completely.
Yeah.
We've got to stop doing that. Let's stop doing that.
And just everybody else, like when it came up in my head when you were talking about when people come up to you after a show saying, how'd you learn those lines? Because it's my fucking job. Do you know what I mean?
You don't go to the dentist and go, God, how do you use that drill? Don't know.
Yeah. Med school.
I just picked it up. Just went for it.
Why not?
Just went for it. Oh, I'm totally aware of the time. It's 9:10. I very much appreciate your time. We could carry on doing this all night long, and I would be very happy, man.
Let's do it. Lock in.
3-hour telephone.
I'm not finished yet.
Oh, sorry.
This is like the most socialising I've done.
Well, I have got one more question. If you want me, do you want me to ask another question?
Yeah.
In fact, I've got 2 more questions. Here we go. Pretty light one. No, I won't finish on the light one. Right. So
we'll finish on a dark one.
Without going, yeah.
What's your funeral going to be like? Something like that.
Oh my God.
There we go.
I'll tell you what. The older I get, the more I think about it.
Oh, mine's already sorted. I know what mine is.
Go on then.
Music and everything. So there's 2, depending on the law, because at the moment, open cremation is illegal.
Right. Okay. You're like a Jedi, you mean?
Yeah. And literally, as people come in and I'm on the funeral pyre.
That's where we needed to end on Star Wars. That should have been the end light question. Anyway.
But there's a piece of music from Return of the Jedi, which is played when Luke burns Vader, and I want that playing. When they light the pyre. But when people come in, I want the Ecstasy of Gold, which is from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and it's the big theme for that. And it is a beautiful piece of music, and I think that would just be amazing.
So hang on a minute. So in one of these versions, you want to be burnt open over an open wood fire with the same song that he uses when he burns Vader.
Yeah.
Wow, that's some ego, that, Mike, isn't it?
Yeah.
That.
And I know there'll be 4 people there, but I don't give a fuck.
I'll be there, man. I'll be there. Good.
And then the other one is there's a lovely hillside in Bradford, up Keighley Way, and it is a ethical kind of burial ground. There's no religion about it. You just get chucked in a hole. You can be with your pets, and it's next to a pub. That'd be all right. If the law doesn't change by the time I die, that's where I'm gonna go.
2 very different images.
Yeah.
Right.
So the other one's buried then, is it?
So yeah, buried in a wicker casket. Yeah. Which I've been to 2 funerals there.
I can build one of those.
You can build one. Yeah, it'll fall apart, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah, because it's going to be buried. But the 2 funerals I've been to, the coffins get pulled in the back of a Volvo estate, which I just think is hilarious.
That's great.
That's
impressive.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, that sent us down an alley I didn't think we were going down. So the industry generally.
That's why I don't talk that much on here.
I know.
I loved it, Mike. I'm with you.
Better than anything I've talked about all night.
So Oldham Coliseum, who I don't know whether I mentioned it. I did a job with them in January. Oldham Coliseum have
episode 32.
Yeah, exactly. I've tweeted today that they are one of many theatres that have cancelled their panto until next year. So my question is, the industry when it comes back properly, what are your hopes and fears about that? What do you?
It's not coming back.
Okay.
Backwards. It's coming up. I don't know. I'm hyper aware of the language that I use at the moment. Like I started earlier answering a question because I nearly said try. Like I'm trying to instill confidence in people, and try. And this idea of going backwards, like the word back. I don't know. I do know. I'm also pulling I don't know out of so many.
This is why interviews with Steph like really get long and
so fun. The thing is, theatre and art is made out of the fight. And I am not by any means saying that what is happening right now isn't beyond horrific. You know, the amount of jobs that have been lost, the theatres that are closing, not at all. But we are notorious for coming back stronger and more resilient. And, we will, we as in this industry will, be taking, sometimes we need to weed out the weak. I don't, that's not meaning that theatres that are closing are weak, but what I mean is like looking at our structures, looking at the way that we survive, looking at the way that everything's funded and what, how the support systems are like. And actually there are weak support systems. There are weak processes that we have in this industry. And actually, like, actors will be spending this time, a lot of actors will be spending this time getting stronger, solidifying their skills, taking time out so that they can be better humans, which will make them better actors. Theatres and organisations will be looking at their structure, and when we open back up, and that will obviously just happen like bit by bit by bit by bit. Every decision that will be made with having had downtime in order to not be working reactively, but with foresight of how to be better and stronger. So fears, I don't know, but what I do know is that as we waken up again, we will be stronger, we will be cleverer, and we will be full of heart and full of fight and all of the fears that people have had over the last few months, will be the backbone of what comes. Sorry.
When you said that was really, really good. It was really good. When you said that it will weed out the weak.
Yeah, I meant structure-wise.
Do you think? No. Hang on. Do you think that means that there won't be as many people in my casting bracket, so I might get more jobs?
Definitely.
Maybe.
Okay.
Oh, right. We've got a definitely, and we've got a maybe.
Okay.
I mean, we can hope, can't we?
Oh, hang on. Did you mean me? Maybe you meant me. That's interesting.
I wouldn't like to say.
No, obviously not. Obviously not. Good, thank you. It's a great answer.
I mean, that's up there with some of the better ones. Not that we've had terrible answers.
Hang on. Whoa. I mean, let's not take it too far. It was all right. It was kind of middling.
I felt. I wanted music behind that. I wanted that to me was the president in Independence Day.
Yeah.
Today will be the entire world's Independence Day. Rah.
You and me, Mike.
Yeah,
we'll slack these two off and we'll just have a good time.
I mean,
a whole be moving forward.
Yeah. Adam.
Anyway, over to you, Adam.
Talk some sex now, Adam.
Oh well, I mean, I'm not even going to try and be as rousing as that. But I think in covering different aspects of it, my biggest fear is that commercial producers will go back to big celeb casting to bring in numbers and that sort of stuff, and we don't move forward.
Seeing that a little bit already, a little bit.
We've already seen like a one-man Ian McKellen show and those sort of things, and I understand. The thing is, I understand that theatre's got to make some money to keep on going, but I actually think I mean, I look at the fact that Slung Low and Ensemble had the first theatre production, like post-lockdown happening, and that's the stuff that gives me hope that we're going to go to a theatre that actually comes back to the heart of what it was about, which was about people, and that stuff. And I think that's what I hope for, and what I really hope is that the general public recognise that too. That's the biggest thing, that they recognise what it is actually about.
So, like, but
I got the standing ovations there. Yeah.
Come on, what the fuck?
Don't be jumping on his gravy train there.
I am, and you thrust your crotch in my face as well.
I do apologise.
Yeah, I did think about switching cameras then slightly.
I do apologise.
I was like,
it's a good job I had shorts on, isn't it?
It is
really.
That would have been really bad.
Yeah.
What I was going to say was, like, obviously at the moment there's pantos being cancelled or rescheduled to next year, like being blanketing our social media feeds. I think that there's going to be people all over the country, all over the world, that will have taken that for granted, that they take their families to or the stuff that comes into the schools or all of that. So I think that there will be a reaffirmed appreciation from the every person because they're going to be missing it. That's what I think. Just jumping on the back of Adam's.
Yeah. I think you should have left it where it was. I don't think you should have jumped in. I think you sort of belittled your argument a little bit. That's all. I think you need to have a think about that.
Rolls says she's clapping too.
Who is?
L Rolls. Was
For
it Ellie?
That's Leanne.
Hey.
Oh, hello, Leanne. She said she was watching. Hi, Leanne. Thanks for the lift. Good. No, that's great. That's really, really good. And I agree absolutely that there are certain things that, I mean, you're seeing it now with people taking the arts for granted. This whole idea that, people, even in that thing with Spec Servers, where there are a couple of people jumping in and sort of going, why should it just be actors? Why should it just be? Nobody was really saying it should just be actors. But, these are the same people that have been sat at home. I'm making a bold statement here. But, there are a lot of people who have been sat at home, being paid by the government to watch Netflix. And it's sort of like, come on, guys, just have an appreciation of what it takes to, yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right about pantos, and I think it also works from the point of view of producers. Adam, you mentioned big producers, and panto is one of those things that they have taken for granted for years. And I know they spend a lot of money on them, a lot of them, and they're big, theatrical experiences. But they were the cash cows, and they're not happening anymore. So people, that needs to be thought about. It needs, good.
Just on the back of that, a couple of comments. Learn your lines, Lee.
Oh yeah, thanks, Leanne.
And Andy Daria was on a couple of weeks ago. It was on our pre-recorded show. It says talking about kind of going on the same thing as the Ian McKellen age blind casting and all that kind of stuff, and it's the same with scripted stuff. Questions like what talent is attached when they've obviously not even read the script, so they'll look at a project and be like, is Cara Toynton doing this? Maybe not Cara Toynton, it's the first name that came into my head, but
I don't know.
Well, Sheridan Smith is a good one.
Yeah.
Anything with Sheridan, she's great, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I've worked with Sheridan and she is fabulous.
Sorry, just pick that up. Yeah.
Sorry. But it is that principle, isn't it? Who's on board? Oh, Sheridan Smith, or whoever. Oh, right. Well, yeah, fine then. Yeah. Send us it. Let's have a look. But I think that will, like Adam, I think like you were saying, Adam, that's to a degree that's always going to continue, because it's in the same vein as the Talking Heads, isn't it? When the BBC did the Talking Heads, and you're looking at, and it got released, and my instant response was, oh, thank goodness they're getting some work. Thank goodness. Because
millionaires.
Yeah. But then you sort of think, well, sadly, it just wouldn't have been produced by the BBC if they hadn't have done them.
And I don't begrudge that. And that's the thing. We can't begrudge that because we all know somewhere along the line, someone's got to make some money. Otherwise, it ain't going to happen. But I think it's about the appreciation, isn't it? That's the real thing.
Yeah. You were disagreeing with that, Steph, weren't you? You had a little...
I did have a little moment there, yeah. I'll just keep it to myself.
Yeah, all right. Otherwise, we are literally going to be here all night.
Show debrief.
Look, it has been absolutely... Oh, no, I've got one final
question.
Yeah, there was a final question. Final question.
Yeah, funerals.
Steph, I know you said that during lockdown, it wasn't really any different for you, but at the peak of shops shutting down, etc., how many toilet rolls did you have in the house?
Just one of those
Just
packs.
one toilet roll?
No, one of them bags.
How big a bag? How big is this bag?
Well, go and find out. Hang on.
I'll show you.
Adam, how were we doing for toilet rolls?
I had 34 in the house before panic buying. But that's because we get one of those massive bulk box zero sort of things from...
Drop the name.
What are the names? I'm now. Darby, who gives a crap?
Who gives a crap?
Of course it is.
Yep.
Who gives a crap? And Cheeky Panda.
And
there you go.
That's a new one.
I want to be sponsored by Cheeky Panda.
I'd like that. And today's episode is brought to you by Cheeky Panda. Wipe your ass with an endangered furry bear.
Yeah.
Soft.
It would be quite soft.
Yeah.
Although they are quite aggressive, aren't they, panda bears?
Only if you've got the bamboo.
Okay. How big's this bag, Steph?
24.
Oh my God, it's massive. All right,
24.
so just one of those.
It's one of these.
Okay, all right, that's quite impressive.
I mean, it's bottom half of the table, but it's survival.
It's round about the middle, I think.
Yeah, mid-table-ish. It's Southampton.
Do you know what? The thing that we committed to at the height of lockdown was making sure we had enough frozen broccoli for the boys.
That was the thing.
It was right. They don't eat it anymore, so we've got bags of the stuff. They'd just gotten into they were both just noshing on frozen broccoli. And so somebody down the way, we couldn't get a delivery slot for 4 or 5 weeks. And somebody, lovely guy called Simon down the road, he was like, "Oh, I'm getting a delivery. Is there anything you need?" And I was like, "Broccoli! We need broccoli!" And he got us broccli.
I'm not being funny, but if somebody had have asked me, that wouldn't have been the first thing on my mouth. Absolutely not. No, but there we go. Horses for courses, as they say.
There's now a conversation about the quality of the toilet paper going on in the chat.
Well, that was Cushams. What would you have then? That's good.
Is that
quilted?
This was Cushell.
Cushell.
Is it triple
quilted?
ply?
It's whatever's on offer, innit?
Of course it is.
End of day, you wipe your ass with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not true. Look, we've had this conversation.
Scratchy. That's
absolutely. It. Yeah. You know better than that, Michael.
Hole, and that's where this conversation.
That's the end of our lovely conversation.
Thank you. That was definitely my last question.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for embracing those questions when I didn't pre-send them to you. I blame Leanne. Leanne's fault.
Yeah. Do you know what? Most things can be blamed on Leanne.
I think so.
Most war in the Middle East.
Yeah.
6 degrees of separation. You can find it somehow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great.
Good.
That's your homework, guys.
Link everything back to Leanne.
Everything.
On it.
Thank you very, very much. It has been absolutely wonderful. We haven't done this for a few weeks. It's been a perfect one to come back on.
Yeah,
I've had an absolute ball. It's been lovely to see you again, Steph. It's been lovely to meet you properly.
To hang out,
Adam. It's been nice to see you as well, Mike.
Thanks.
Mike, it's been great hanging out with you.
Mike's my favourite.
No.
Yeah,
She don't mean it.
Yeah.
He does get that a lot, actually. I'm the stupid gobby one, and he's the one. He's the cool one that sort of sits back and tells us about like fancy indie films. Thinks he's clever.
He wasn't shameless though.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're going to wrap the show up. Feel free to log off. And it's been lovely to see you. Thank you very much.
I'm
indeed.
not logging off.
No, you can stay on.
Absolutely.
Because
I'm going to have to.
Yeah, once we've finished, we can have a quick chat. That's absolutely fine. I'm more than happy with that. I do need another drink. But thank you so much again. I hope to see you soon at some point. And love to the family and everything.
Let's have a beer.
Thanks very much for having me.
Thanks very much.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
That's a nice one to come back to, isn't it? After a couple of weeks of pre-records and flashbacks.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
I very
really
much enjoyed it.
I think they're both lovely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely know their shit.
Oh no,
They know the stuff they talk about.
Yes, not they know their shit.
Yeah, not
they know stuff.
They know stuff. I mean, just because Steph's hanging on, the hopes and fears question, that was magnificent.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell her, but it was up there. It was up there, wasn't it?
I mean, it really was. I mean, that's the kind of stuff what you imagine, when they announced the 1.57 billion, that's the speech you wanted somebody to give, to say, we're going to give you this money, but this is the condition, is you need to sort out the wheat from the chaff.
Let's get rid of the weak, I think she said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree with entirely. Is somebody who spent a decade doing process improvement and Six Sigma and all that kind of stuff, it is ingrained in me to kind of look at process and go, that's waste, that's waste, that's waste, that's not productive, and work smarter, not harder. You have to always, and I do that at home, and it drives my wife insane. When she's like, mop the floor, and I'm like, why? When there's just that bit that's dirty, so I'm going to mop that bit.
I'm not quite sure that's the same thing, Michael.
It's entirely the same.
Yeah, I'm with you. Look, we are back next week. No, we're not. We're going to have to do a pre-record. Oh no, possibly.
I don't even know this.
I know. It's because we're camping.
Me and you. Oh, where are we going?
That's why you don't know. I'm whisking you off.
We have to a stables in Wales to go.
Yeah, we're getting a few lads together. We're off to book to stables. We're gonna have a boozy weekend.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so we'll get that sorted out. And if we don't,
because I run all this shit. You could always just, if there's Wi-Fi, just log on from the tent.
Well, oh my! Do you not think that I put a lot into preparing this?
I mean, you do like the questions. You email the questions out to people normally.
And I forgot to do that.
And you normally tweet things.
Yeah, I do. Right. Okay. So yeah, we'll sort next week. Looking forward to that. We'll definitely do that.
Who's on? Do we know?
It's a secret at the moment.
We haven't asked anybody, have we?
I have actually.
That's all right.
Yes. I have got a couple of people lined up, but it's not 100% definite. So
I'm really impressed. We've got to episode 32 and we haven't had any repeat guests.
That is true.
Do you know what I mean? We haven't got, Emma, let's get her back on.
Because there's so many good people to talk to.
Lucy Rafter.
Right.
I'd love to get some of the early ones back on because we now know what we're doing.
Do we? Okay. It's debatable, Mike. It's debatable. Right, come on. Let's this is turning into the longest episode we've done.
Yeah.
Let's log off. Thanks very much, everybody. Like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff because we haven't said all that. Very much appreciate you being with us and look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah. See ya. Roll credits.